Next on stage is Paul Savich, Managing Director of WA1. WA1 has been focused on advancing the development of the Luni Niobium project in Western Australia since its discovery shortly after listing in 2022. It says here that Paul is one of Australia's most foremost hamburger critics. Still finds time to change the global niobium market and is here today to give us an update on the Luni project.
Thanks, Tim. Good morning, and thank you, diggers and dealers, for this opportunity. I'm incredibly proud of what WA1 has achieved over the past 3 years, and today I'm looking forward to running you through our approach to bring online what is now one of Australia's most important and valuable critical mineral projects. But first, I'd like to take a few minutes just to go through a little bit of detail on the niobium space to explain to investors why, on so many metrics, niobium is one of the best commodities for us to be working with, and why there simply hasn't been a better time in history to discover and develop the world's second best niobium project. Okay, let's go. Currently, 3 existing niobium mines provide the world its niobium needs. 2 of those mines are in Brazil, and last year, one of the Brazilian mines provided the world 74% of its niobium supply. That mine is called Araxá, and it's owned by private company CBMM. So, it's not surprising that over the last couple of years since our discovery of Luni, that WA1 and Australia has now become a tremendously important global player which can help address this highly concentrated supply situation. And China, which is 37% of global niobium demand, has no domestic niobium supply and therefore relies on Brazil for almost all of its niobium. All the producers sell direct to customer, and that removes the price volatility which is often seen or amplified by traders in a lot of other metal markets. And this results in these 3 existing mines being some of the most reliably profitable mines on Earth. 88% of global niobium demand is in the form ferroniobium. It's a very high value metal, selling for around US $30,000 per tonne. And ferroniobium is used as a microalloy in the steelmaking process. It's applied directly into the steelmaking process. And alloying refers to the intentional addition of elements other than iron to modify or enhance steel's properties. And the better known alloys include vanadium, titanium, manganese, and nickel. So let me explain why niobium is one of the highest ranked critical minerals, why it sells for US $30,000 per tonne, and why it is so highly sought after for a range of crucial applications. For over 2 centuries, whenever you've needed something strong and tough, it's been hard to beat steel. And when steel production became cost effective in the 1800s, it became a crucial component in infrastructure, transport, and manufacturing. So industry began to demand more from steel and quality became a focus. And this is when alloying elements started being widely used. Different alloys will enhance steel's performance in different ways, and niobium is the ideal alloy if you need to form or bend steel, such as in structural steels and beams, pipelines, or in automotive chassis. And this is because the addition of a small amount of niobium per tonne of steel enhances the microstructure of the steel. It causes the iron to solidify in smaller, densely packed particles, and this is known as grain refinement. Niobium is the best element for this. It assists with formability, while it maintains weldability, and it also enhances strength, which means that for the same application, you can use less steel. Iron and steel making accounts for 11% of global CO2 emissions, and demand for steel will continue to increase. Microalloys like niobium provide industry an incredible opportunity to create and produce better products, meaning that construction and manufacturing can do much more with much less steel. And this dematerialisation is a very important but often overlooked part of decarbonisation. With 88% of niobium supply sold in the form ferroniobium, that product is expected to underpin the initial development case for Luni. So I won't go into too much detail today on niobium oxides, which is niobium in a more pure form, selling for around US $52,000 per tonne. But I will note that 12% of global niobium is used in oxide form and primarily for the production of superalloys, which are metals used in high temperature, high stress military, defence and aerospace applications, and also in high performance medical, energy and electronic equipment. And this is why niobium finds itself exempt from all Trump tariffs. While niobium demand is currently much smaller than ferroniobium, growth in this segment alone, last year alone, was 15%, or around 2,400 tonnes. To summarise the niobium market, growth is strong and getting stronger. Consumption of ferroniobium over the last 20 years has increased by more than 300%. And even last year, in the face of lower steel production, ferroniobium consumption increased by 5,000 tonnes last year alone. And the move away from blast furnaces to electric arc furnaces and potentially even green steel will only further increase demand. And in terms of supply, for the last 50 years, 3 mines have satisfied the growth in demand, with the burden of ensuring supply resting squarely on CBMM's shoulders. And as you can see in this slide, CBMM has scale and grade, which, as I'll show you in a couple of slides, explains why Luni is so valuable. I won't go into as much detail about CBMM as last year, but I'll share some recent insight. CBMM's mine is in the state of Minas Gerais, and the state of MG receives 25% of CBMM's profits under a profit share royalty arrangement. The state of MG is currently looking to reduce its debt to the federal government by transferring this ownership. The transaction is live and there are regular developments, but in summary, this is a very advanced proposal to federalise a significant portion of the ownership of the world's, a majority of the world's niobium supply. And the valuation of the transfer is yet to be determined, but there have been reports that the state is seeking up to the equivalent of US $10.5 billion for its share in CBMM. On a whole of company basis, this translates to US $42 billion, which values CBMM's operations at more than Fortescue in its entirety. And so to put that into perspective, last year Fortescue produced a record 194 million tonnes of iron ore, and CBMM produced 100,000 tonnes of ferroniobium equivalent. So the prize in front of WA1 is significant. And the first time this slide was included in our corporate presentation was March 2023, when we had only 3 drill holes into Luni. We were fortunate that the magnitude of Luni immediately gave us the access to capital and the confidence to commit to development. And that immediate commitment to development, commitment to long lead activities across the full range of the project's components has meant that we've been able to use the maximum time available from discovery through to potential production to de-risk, design and permit each component. And this, coupled with early engagement with potential offtake partners across the world, is allowing us to continue to refine the most suitable project delivery and associated funding model. Drilling at Luni has progressed very efficiently. In 2024, we announced our maiden inferred resource estimate, and then after a further 20,000 metres of resource definition drilling, we recently reported an updated MRE. Overall, infill drilling increased the total resource at Luni by 10% to 220 million tonnes at 1% NB205. So this was a testament to the accuracy and the integrity of our first resource estimate, and is also reinforcement of the quality and continuity of Luni's mineralisation. And in line with our project delivery model and development ambitions that I just mentioned earlier, since discovery, drilling at Luni has had one key objective: to find the best of this incredibly large and high-grade deposit, which can support the highest value, lowest risk development case. So, following initial reconnaissance, we narrowed our focus to 2 key high-grade zones, which are shown in this image in colour. These are the new indicated portions of Luni's resource: 31 million tonnes at an incredible 2.3%. I'm confident that this indicated resource provides the foundation for us to progress all facets of Luni's development. And the scale is hard to appreciate in this image. That eastern zone alone is 1.5 kilometres by 500 metres, very close to surface, and has an average thickness of 25 metres. These rocks are not staying in the ground, and our mine design studies are well underway to work out which ones should come out first. And this year we've had 3 drill rigs operating at site, with only one of them focused on resource definition and the other 2 on completing pre-development activities. This image shows the drilling completed for sterilisation, geotechnical, hydrogeological and environmental purposes, and will enable us to finalise site design and disturbance envelopes for various work streams. It's again important to note the scale of this image. That sterilisation there is 10 kilometres east-west, defining clear boundaries to the mineralisation and providing significant optionality for our layouts. Hydrogeological drilling remains ongoing, including the establishment of production bores to inform water studies and balances. Considerable funding and effort has been committed to the drilling on this map, and this is in line with our approach to progress each project component as efficiently as possible and thereby deliver the best value to our shareholders. Moving to processing, the existing mines use a similar flow sheet which comprise 3 main steps, which you can see on this slide. Importantly, these 3 mines all produce ferroniobium, which is ready for direct use in the steelmaking process. This is one of the most strategic attributes of owning a niobium operation because it means that the mine gate product can be directly sold to a diverse global customer base. The main challenge in these conventional flow sheets is the same as many other commodities. It's the flotation step, so this is where we focus most of our effort. Mineralogical characterisation across Luni has identified the same key niobium-bearing minerals that exist at the other deposits, so we've focused on refining a similar flow sheet. And to date, we've reported flotation test work from within the eastern zone of the deposit, which I mentioned earlier. This is the part of the deposit that we currently believe could underpin our optimal initial development scenario, and we've since been undertaking a lot of flotation variability test work to inform process flow sheet design decisions and mass balances. This test work is also providing a continuous feedback loop into mine design studies. And we've also reported the results from the 2nd and 3rd steps in that flow sheet. And to summarise that proof of concept test work, we took mineralisation from Luni through the entire flow sheet and produced ferroniobium, thereby representing the relative simplicity of a ferroniobium flow sheet. And we've also just released results from test work that used concentrate from Luni to produce high purity niobium oxide samples. With currently no significant supply of niobium oxide outside of CBMM, this test work further highlights the incredibly strategic nature of Luni. So, now, based on test work results to date, we have sample specifications for various stages of the flow sheet, including niobium concentrates, ferroniobium and niobium oxide, enabling increasingly detailed engagement with potential offtake partners who are able to consider our entire potential product mix. We've continued to upgrade our facilities at site, and now, following the drilling I was talking about earlier, that we completed earlier this year, we're finalising layout designs, looking for a suitable camp to purchase, which will support our increasing and diversified site-based activities. We have an excellent record on health and safety, heritage and environment, and our highly experienced team is absolutely determined to continue this. And over the past 3 years, we've placed significant importance on work streams to support high quality environmental data capture, to support documentation for our ultimate government impact assessment process. And our surveys have been completed in partnership with local ranger groups, and that's also providing important information to enhance their ability to deliver conservation outcomes and heritage protection. Separate to this, I'm pleased to say we've increased our community-based initiatives, which has included white card training and specialist skill sessions and training, and also short-term on-country internships for a number of traditional owners with our earthworks contractor. Our shareholders can be incredibly proud of the work that their company is doing in the local communities. Over the past year, we've bolstered our board and executive team for the next part of the WA1 journey. We've had the pleasure of welcoming Kathleen Bosnich and Lee Bowers to our board, and we now have full in-house capability to advance our permitting and development ambitions. We have $70 million cash, and we have maintained our treasury discipline, and our shareholder base continues to grow, largely supported by high quality North American institutional investors, and I'm very appreciative that we're starting to see some Australian institutional support as well. So, as I've demonstrated today, we are advancing all project components as efficiently as possible, with a firm focus on our objective of defining the highest value, lowest risk development case for Luni. Because with a resource of this scale, the challenge is to optimise our studies to ensure the best part of the deposit is utilised first. Coupled with our demonstrated potential product mix, we expect to be able to access our ideal offtake and funding models. In parallel, we're advancing our permitting work streams, which will most likely have a large influence on the ultimate development timeline for our 100% owned Luni Niobium project. We are well funded, we're highly motivated, and we're extremely grateful to be working on this project because there simply has not been a better time in history to discover and develop the world's second best niobium deposit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul.